So of course, eventually I was going to get to Battlefield Earth on this show. I mean, it's almost impossible to talk about this movie without hearing the words one worst movies ever at some point in the conversation. The movie came out in the year 2000, and apparently the 2001 special edition has an extra 2 minutes. Because, yeah, that'll save it. The movie's bad for many, many obvious reasons, like production design, editing, acting, writing and directing being probably the worst of all of them. So I went on the internet to see if there were any actual positive reviews for this movie, mostly just for a laugh, for my own enjoyment. But I did find that the few people that were defending it because they thought it had a good plot. Really? I mean, the movie really comes down to aliens mining for gold. I mean, really, how much can gold be worth on the galactic market? I don't know, I'm not a space stockbroker, but unless it's worth more than anything in the universe, this whole movie's bullshit. Think about it. The aliens came to Earth, took over the whole planet, set up their own little alien community, built a giant base and a teleporter, and brought over tons of workers and guards, had to pay for all those positions as well. So how much did all of that end up costing for the past 1,000 years? Now, I'm no galactic financial advisor, but doesn't exactly sound like a very good investment to me. Speaking of bad investments, apparently the studio which produced the film got into some big trouble for inflating the budget to scam investors. Now, I could tell you the whole story, but in the interest of saving time, I'll just skip to the end and tell you that the studio went bankrupt. And if you want to know more, just Google franchise pictures fraud. I pretty much guarantee whatever story you find will be 1,000,000 times more entertaining than this entire movie. The movie starts with a bunch of people heading back into, I don't know, some kind of camp. And right away you'll notice that something feels kind of off with this movie. And that's because pretty much the entire thing was shot on an angle. This type of shot is called a Dutch angle or a Dutch tilt. Some cinematographers even just refer to it simply as a Dutchie on set. I don't know if that's actually true, it's just what one cinematographer told me. Maybe he was just messing with me, and now I look like an idiot. Typically, this type of shot is used to convey some sort of disorientation with the character, or convey a feeling of tension or that something has gone awry in a scene. Like this scene from Mission Impossible, where Tom Cruise starts putting all the pieces of the puzzle together and realizes he's in a very messy situation. Anyways, the funny thing is that this movie is loaded with so many of them that you may start to get the feeling that something is wrong with the entire movie. And you'd be right. It sucks. So Barry Pepper shows up on a horse with some medicine for his dad, and this chick is like, hey, guess what? Your dad's dead. So he flips out and throws something.
This is all the medicine I can find.
I'm sorry. The gods took your father in the night.
And what exactly did he throw? He gave the medicine to the chick. He has nothing in his hands here. So then he just buries his dad real quick and we move right along. What was the point of all of this? I mean, it would be one thing to take the time and show how his father's death really affected him emotionally and psychologically, you know, develop the character. I mean, just lengthen this sequence a little bit. Let us connect and sympathize with the protagonist that we were just introduced to. But we don't get that. It just moves right along onto the next scene as if nothing ever happened. It's kind of like this. It's pretty much all the medicine I can find.
I'm sorry. The gods took your father in the night.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Oh, your dad died.
I'm thinking pizza.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Alright.
Mark,
Yeah?
I thought you got bacon.
Yeah, I asked for bacon.
There's no bacon on this.
Add in more wipe transitions to last a lifetime, terrible editing, horrible production design, and scenes tinted to the extreme, and what you have is a complete visual kick to the balls. And just to be clear, I meant that in a bad way for all you sex freaks out there. So Barry gets captured by the aliens and taken to their base. At one point, Barry grabs an alien's gun and kills him with it, and John Travolta shows up and asks what happened. The other alien tells him, but he doesn't believe it, so he gives the gun back to Barry. This is our first example of how incredibly stupid the aliens are, even though they're supposed to be the superior race, which in turn is a great demonstration on how terrible the writing is. I mean, John Travolta is supposed to be the chief of security here, and when he learns that one of his guards was shot by a human, he gives a gun back to the human, which of course leads to the death of another guard, and for some reason he's surprised by this. What made you believe that a human couldn't operate a weapon in the first place? You guys apparently did your research so you would know that we had guns at some point. I mean, you've been here for 1,000 years, which means that you would have come here in the year 2000, and during this whole invasion, I would like to guess that there was some sort of resistance from the human race involving weapons, but like a few other scenes, we're just gonna end it with a big goofy laugh. So then this asshole shows up.
I hate these puny, undersized planets. The gravity is so different.
What does that mean? Gravity is different. Explain how. Creative writing. It's hard. Anyways, let's just get through this scene. But don't forget the big laugh. Oh, yep, there it is. So they all sit down and have a good laugh, and then it's revealed that instead of being on Earth for 5 cycles, however long that is, John Travolta has to stay on Earth for another 50 cycles, which of course leads to another round of laughter at John's expense. Kind of like what happened when this movie was released. Oh yeah, by the way, once again, if these aliens were so superior, then why haven't they been able to invent a decent toothbrush? They keep all the humans in cages inside of a zoo, and then there's some fight over who gets to eat the guacamole first, which to be honest is kind of understandable. I mean, I'm pretty protective of that shit too. You should see me at Chipotle. Anyways, Barry finally gets cornered by 2 aliens, but luckily he's saved when John Travolta kills both of them. I guess he's going for that worst security chief of all time award. So they let some humans think they've escaped, thinking that this will lead the aliens to the humans' favorite food. You get that? I probably could have wrote that better, but fuck it. Anyways, it makes completely no sense at all.
That's their favorite food.
Of course it is. They could have selected anything they wanted.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, John, but they picked rat because it was the only thing they could find. This is post-apocalyptic Earth, not some kind of Vegas buffet.
Badass, and let's go round them up. Ah! Crap, lousy ceiling. I thought I told you to get some man animals in here and fix it.
Seriously, was that in the script, or did he just improvise that? I really can't tell. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was in the script. I honestly have no idea why the aliens' heads are so big. It's not like their brains need the extra space. So the plan is to train one of the humans to mine gold for them, so that way they can get the work done for free. Which, honestly, why didn't they just do this in the first place when they came here? But whatever, I'm sure there's some kind of shitty explanation for it in the book, which I didn't read because why the fuck would I? The aliens decide to strap him to this chair and make him really smart with this, I don't know, education machine, and they think they'll be able to get him to do whatever they want by then offering up rats as food. They think that they're gonna be able to have leverage over him by using vermin.
Do you want lunch?
Of course, guess what happens? Barry learns all about the aliens and their language, so he's basically just able to stroll around their base and go wherever he wants, getting his friends into places that they shouldn't be, like, you know, a weapons locker. And by the way, how did they even get out of the cage they were all in? Never got to see that. So John Travolta takes them all out and is like, hey, look how awesome I am at shooting the legs off cows. So I guess they picked up Barry's girlfriend at some point, and of course they know it's his girlfriend because of this drawing that she had with her that's supposed to be a sketch of him. Wow, that's an amazing drawing. Looks like a person with long hair. It must be this guy. One of the other humans gives him some sort of a pep talk. Hey, thanks a lot, coach. Here's a lock of my hair. Gee, thanks. John Travolta forces Barry to learn how to fly the alien ships, providing more proof that these aliens are too stupid to have ever conquered Earth. You're gonna teach your prisoner how to fly a ship and then leave him alone with it for 2 weeks? Really? There wasn't any other option except basically training your prisoners how to escape? Barry comes up with the idea of just going to Fort Knox to get some gold, which again drives the nail even deeper into the coffin concerning the intelligence of these aliens. They've been on Earth for 1,000 years and never stumbled upon Fort Knox. So Barry hatches a plan with the other humans to destroy not just the alien base, but the alien home planet. It's just too bad he never really explains how they're gonna do it. He just says, yeah, we're gonna do this, and no one really seems to question how. So they hit up Fort Hood, which still has a bunch of tanks and Harrier jets in it, which honestly I find this interesting because you'd figure the United States would have used those when the aliens invaded 1,000 years ago. That's of course assuming that the United States would have put up a defense against an alien invasion, which I'd be pretty confident making a bet with Vegas that they would. They find a Harrier jet flight simulator and they're extremely confident that they can train everyone how to fly. Really? You think you can train every single one of these people who have obviously never had to operate a vehicle before into a fighter pilot in 2 weeks? Anyways, they put the plan into action, which is basically just to start killing the aliens, and they manage to destroy the alien base. Then there's this fight between Barry and John, and the funny part is that John starts asking where the gold is. That's what you're concerned about at this point? That's at the top of your list of priorities? They destroy the alien planet by sending a guy over with a bomb, which I guess sets off a chain reaction in the atmosphere and destroys the whole planet. And then they lock up John Travolta in Fort Knox, and that's pretty much it. I think I read one review where someone said that this movie just needed time to grow on people, which is obviously not the case. It's been almost 15 years. So in the end, if you haven't seen Battlefield Earth, don't see it. It's bad. It really is one of the worst movies ever made. It's on the list, and since it's on the list of movies that are considered to be the worst, I gotta watch it. Why did I start this fucking show? That's still pretty good. Even without the bacon.